Hey, brothers and sisters. I wanted to make a follow-up video because, as usual, you get done and there's a bunch of things you wanted to say that you didn't. For me, it's true anyway. I tried to. I don't usually plan them out too well. I kind of just whatever comes out comes out. But this one, I try to jot down some more information. One of the things that I was talking about yesterday was how this society is the secret society, the one that is is being functioned every day. We've been taught it from programming, TV programming, from board games, Life, Monopoly. It's just been the indoctrination over and over again, and every part of it is a fraud. Even especially when they name these things. Um, it's funny, like even the days of the week, are all named after pagan gods, but they named them that. What did God call them? The first day, on the second, the second day, and I believe there's still some different sects of people that still go by that first day, second day, third day, um, and also even the time. They try to brainwash us to act like everything's scientific and they're in control. But if you have any clock in your house, uh, or multiple clocks that aren't hooked up to online or the internet or anything like that, you'll see they're always uh, losing or gaining time. Well, are they incorrect? Are they all incorrect? Or is God's time not, perfectly measurable by man? So what they do is these, because obviously a day is not exactly 24 hours to the second. God determines the length of each day. When the sun sets, when the sun rises, you know. So what they do is they correct the clocks online. They're always adjusting them. So that's why all the clocks other people have in their house are off. Because again, it's a fraud. I mean, is it I'm on the East Coast. Is it 8:22 here, but in California it's 3 hours different. So what time is it? All across the world it's different times. So wouldn't there just be one time? Again, God decides the time, and then I think that also plays into no man knows the day or the hour. Because only God even truly knows the day and the time. Look at the year. It's 2017. We know there's been way more than 2017 things we call a year. So just now, I mean, it was like Karl Rove, I think, made that quote one time that they create reality, and they have. They've created a total fictitious reality that's trespassing upon the true world of God. Um, and the other part is, with I said this before about Adam when he named the animals, he had dominion over them. He named them, just like we know when a child gets a pet, the first thing they want to do is name it. And I think I found something pretty cool in where is it? Genesis 11:4. When it was talking about the Tower of Babel again, it said 11:4 says, "And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." Well, they keep saying us, U.S. Is that the U.S. corporation that they're talking about today? Is that what it's named after? I mean, they constantly name these things after everything, and it's funny. You look up uh, Anu, Anu. I think literally had meant uh, name or no name, and Nama. She was one of the daughters, and that also means name. And it's always about a name. Let us make us a name. What do? They create the legal name for us. Um, and they try to create that joinder. They created that, so if we say we're that, then that's what they have control over. It's all because of our belief again. Um, I thought that was pretty neat, though. That, you know, in that sentence, in that one verse, you know, it uses the word us. Let us build us a city, and let us make us a name. Let us make US a name. And again, the United States of what? There's many United States. You know, Carl Lentz talks about that too. You know, the United States of Mexico. You know, but I think it's also, you know, the United States of what? Consciousness. Um, where do I have that here? I'll have to come back to it, I guess. I thought I had that right here. Well, again, you know, what kind of states? You know, what kind of state of mind, uh, state of being, state of awareness. You know, when they ask you what state you're in, you know, you say Pennsylvania or New York, or what is a Pennsylvania or what is a New York? How am I in it? You know, that doesn't exist. That's second dimension on a piece of paper. And, you know, again, I don't mean this for conversations with your friend, but I'm saying this is how they get control. If you're saying you are part of this thing that someone else created, and, you know, like this, again, citizen, member of a family, civil war, civis, you know, family feud. That's what it literally means. You know, civil war is a family feud, and that's what's going on in heaven too. You know, obviously, you know, the fallen angels, obviously brothers with the ones that remain loyal and faithful. So, you know, as above, so below. It's carrying out. It's being played out on the board here. This this play, this scientific experiment. Um, and again, with the law, I think I mentioned this yesterday too. The law was always created to be a benefit and not harm, but they're always presuming that there is no harm. So one of the things you have to do is rebut the presumptions, and that's the other part where the claim is the teeth. If you have to go through with filing the actual claim against that man or woman, but the other part of it is sending simple notices. You know, just write notice at the top. You know, and you don't want to add things. You know, like they do. You know, judicial or you know once you add something to the word, you're actually taking away from it. You're diminishing the capacity of that word. You know, I say man, but then if I say fireman, I've just eliminated every other type of man except for someone that acts as a fireman or a policeman. Same, you know, same thing. So you don't want to diminish the capacity. So just a plain notice. It's a notice to the world. It's you know like the hear ye, hear ye. You're shouting out. You're letting the world know. And it's basically just rebutting whatever presumption. Like each notice, you want to do just one thing, because if you know you make a list of a bunch of things and one thing is incorrect or wrong, the whole document becomes incorrect. Just like with the Bible, when you know these people who say they're keeping the law, well, they're not. They're all sinning according to the actual law, and the law is one document. So if you break one part of the law, you've broken the law. That's it. So I don't know how anyone believes they're going to be saved by works or maintaining the law. I mean, that was the whole point of Jesus to come here. That's the trap of the devil. He wants everyone to be judged by the law, under the law. Um, let's see. Uh, Another fun word I found, you know, they always talk about the Merovingian bloodline. Again, Mero. Um, Another word that's related, mirage, you know, Meyer age, mirror age, Mar age, you know, death age. But the Merovingian literally means wine that's gone bad. It's like vinegar, bad wine, dead blood. So that's why they have to feed off us. They're away from the tree. They're, you know, twice plucked up by the roots. So they have disconnected themselves from the tree of life. They're no longer on. So what happens to fruit when it falls off the tree and it isn't connected anymore? It goes bad. It rots. And that's literally what's happening to these entities. Same thing with us. Is you know when we're disconnected with God, you know, individually, let alone when we come together as a community or you know a nation or whatever else. Look what's happening. We're being drawn away. We're being tempted away every which way. We're being tempted away, and we see what's happening. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And then, they throw their word game out there, something like, and talk about evolution, how we're evolving. Well, there's how many definitions of uh, evolution, but it's funny, the etymology of it. Uh, so if they say evolution's true, I'll agree. I'll say evolution is true. What's evolution? An opening of what was rolled up, unrolling of a book, to unroll, about a scroll. So, again, the universe, the first verse of the Bible, it's the unrolling, and it's going to be folded back up at the end, with a new heaven and a new earth. What else? And again, with Adam and Eve, I was talking about competency yesterday, and that's why I believe that they were not fully punished, and we have this opportunity, like even Milky Way galaxy. When you look up those two words separately, it can literally mean an opportunity to advance. So we're getting a trial here. We're getting an opportunity, and it's determining, I guess, where we're going to go after this place. I don't know if it's forever, or obviously I don't know that, but it's frightening. But Adam and Eve, they weren't competent of the law. They were naked before the Lord. They weren't ignorant of the law, because they say ignorance is no excuse of the law. They were incompetent. They didn't know good and evil. They didn't know that. Also, the only law that they were given was to not eat of the fruit of the tree. And again, fruit of the tree is, offspring of the tree. The word tree literally means, one of the definitions literally means a figure that branches from a single genealogical root, one that came directly from God. And that's why I believe it's Apollyon again, the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Well, I believe that tree was Satan. He came directly from God. And the fruit of that tree, his offspring, Apollyon, or one of his offspring, but I believe it's Apollyon. That's why he's in the bottomless pit. That's probably why he's the king of it. He's been there a long time, and if he was the son of the devil, obviously he was very powerful. Apollyon, son of Zeus, Apollo. Let's see. And also I was talking about, the Jesus, Apollyon coming as the Antichrist in the clone body of Jesus, playing to the letter of the law. So technically, can he say he's Jesus? Well, yeah, he can say that. And the image of the beast, image, if you look up the definitions again, literally means clone. The word Catholic literally means universal religion, liberal, wide and broad. Let's see.
Call from Louis. Call from Louis.
And this, another cool one was, even on, like, they have us fill out forms. When you fill out to a form, you're conforming, or you submit an application to apply a petition to beg. But I thought this was funny when they ask if you're male or female. Well, again, what's male? It's the same word spelled M-A-L-E as M-A-I-L. It's the same sound. It's the same frequency, same tone, same pitch. Pitchfork. It's the same tone. So, male, what does male literally mean? Good at etymology. A traveling bag from the 1200s. What were a skin bag? Letters, parcels. So, when we're sent by God, we're literally, basically messengers, just like the angels. They're angel. One of the meanings of angel is a messenger. But it's just funny. It says a skin bag. So that's what you're saying when you check male or female. And what's female? F-E-E, fee. What's that mean? Cattle. That's nice, huh? Pi root meaning cattle. Old English word is fia, livestock, cattle, movable property, possessions in livestock, goods, or money. So, again, and just like I was saying before, the banking terms, stocks and bonds, that's what slaves are held in, stocks and bonds, in the stockades and bondage. The word loan, like from the bank, loan, one of the definitions, literally a lane where cows are milked. And then fee has other stuff, like uh, feudal. Also has fee, fall, fum, which was the exclamation of the giant and Jack the Giant Killer. That's funny. Fief, a feud, a possession, holding. So, I mean, we're constantly doing it ourselves. We're checking all these things off on the forms, on applications. We're begging. How do you plea? It's you're begging again to a man wearing a dress. You know, it's just a joke. The whole thing's just a horrible joke. And I know most of us that are into this stuff, we know that it's fake. We know that it's not real, that it's not the right way, but we just think we're stuck in this, that we have to be in this, and that's the thing. We don't. We can make the change. Even like if you're city council or town council again, they want to pass some kind of ordinance or some kind of nonsense. You can go to that meeting or just send something simply, just letting them know, giving them notice, public notice, that by enacting, ordinance XYZ, you're going to cause man, your fellow man, great harm, injury, and loss. Bob, Jim, Susie, you send them all a notice. Put them all on notice. Do whatever you wish, but I'm just letting you know, if you enact this, it is going to cause me harm. And that's where they have to use this trick. And I always go back to the bad genie. You have a genie that doesn't want to serve you, but he's required to. He has to. And that's what I believe. The angels from ministers, administers, administration. Uh, that's what they're bringing us into, administrative courts, ministers. So the councils are to give us advice, just like an attorney's supposed to give advice. He's not supposed to decide things for you, just like with what they do with royalty in the old times, and probably to this day. They convince them that that they're godlike, and they don't need to be bothered by such petty mortal issues. So they have them bind their feet, or let their fingernails grow long so they can't use their hands anymore. Or the groom of the stool, have them so they can't even wipe their own ass. Like literally, to just have them there as a figurehead while these people behind the scenes are making the decisions. And it absolutely has to be spiritual and magic, because how can everyone forget that our public servants are servants? How can everyone just forget that if it's something's your property, that it's yours? No man can tell you what you can or cannot do with it. Like it's just like everyone forgets that. And even when now you try to talk to someone, they might acknowledge, and a handful, kind of get it, but that's it. They just fully believe that's how it is. That you just have to do it. Everyone does it. So what's that? That's become their common law. That's their tradition, their custom, common lore, LORE. Uh, that's what it is really called. Learning what is taught, knowledge, science, doctrine, art, or act of teaching. Um, the common lore, the common sense, is what we're all folklore, is the beliefs, traditional beliefs and customs of the common people. And that's what they're changing, because if they change our core beliefs, it instantly changes how we all act. If you see people put into an area where there's security cameras, most people are going to act a little differently. Well, can you imagine, again, if most people knew that God was real and that there are these entities watching us constantly? That's not going to alter anyone's behavior. And again, an altar, a religious altar, you're altering, you're changing. You're going there as a go-between, as a bridge. Or even when, again, with Nimrod with the Tower of Babel, they wanted to reach unto heaven. Well, maybe part of them physically wanted to, but, remember that logo by AT&T, reach out and touch someone? A telephone tower, communication tower. There's all kinds of towers. So were they just trying to get a better signal, to have more direct contact, so they could get their power and rule and get the knowledge how they can create this fake society? And that's why they laugh at us all the time, because we believe all this nonsense. Instantly, if they make a railing accusation, Like it says, Michael durst not make a railing accusation against Satan. Well, because it was just a complaint. It wasn't an actual claim. He was making a complaint. And they were arguing over the body of Moses. And again, I believe again that was probably for cloning, just like the mummification. So Moses was the lawgiver. Did they have the body of Moses today with some kind of entity within it operating to give the new law? Part of me thought Obama might have been that body of Moses. And because of the Akhenaten thing, there's I think it was Sigmund Freud who wrote some material on that, but I don't know. That's just a guess. It just seemed to fit a little bit. Let's see. And it's funny, every day you can see like the lessons in everything. At least I can. I see these lessons in everything now. And the duality and everything, like our senses. Like we've given our senses to, to learn and make observations and try to figure out what's going on here. But again, that other word changed the S to a C, censored, material censored. It's also to block us. So while it's allowing information in, it's also keeping information out, like in different light spectrums, different sound frequencies we can't hear, vibrations that are too fast that we can't see, all kinds of things. That's going on. And then the other as a sensor, like with the smoke in the religious ceremonies, and what I've seen personally from what the reason for the candles and the smokes a lot of times is to please something they're summoning, but also so that entity can use the smoke to be visible to whoever's summoning it. And again, mainly is to cause them to believe more, to worship more. That they need to feed off of us, our blood, our prayers, our worship. Why do you think everything has to be named after them? Everything in this world, they have no name. I believe they were stripped of their name. So getting a title from God, like Lucifer. Well, they called Satan not just a title as the adversary. I think he was stripped. Just like today, if when the royals grant people titles, whatever title you're granted, whoever created that title has the ability to control it and take it away. And in this world, all these titles, people have been trained to think that a title is a good thing. But again, if you're given a title, you're coming down from your original status of a man or a woman down to that thing, and then now you have duties and obligations and responsibilities and privileges. It's no more anymore about rights. But again, you can come in and out of that capacity. Sometimes I'm a dad, sometimes I'm a husband, sometimes I'm a brother. Sometimes we have all these different titles, and we act appropriately, act in public. And the costumes in this world have to, like the person, the mask again. The costumes in this world, someone puts on a costume. I could tell. I put on a T-shirt. A Navy T-shirt, Air Force, something like that. Instantly, people think you're in the Air Force or the Navy, and they're talking to you about it. So you put on the whole uniform. That's why they have to have all these uniforms, because it's part of the costume. It's grown-up Halloween for adults. Adult. That's another thing. If you say you're an adult, you're adult. A moron. I heard someone talking about a werewolf or something yesterday, and I just thought that was funny. Like that word "were," like there's 3 different spellings and 3 different meanings, but they're all accurate for that description. Werewolf, like were, second person past, so they were wolf. Wear, like a costume, they wear it. That's one of their persons, is the wolf. W-A-R-E is the guard, a manufactured good. And there's even W-E-I-R is to defend. So there's actually 4 different spellings, supposedly 4 different words, but all 4 of them fit. And we've been so trained to do these assumptions and to think either or, left or right, and I think that's all being set up again for the good cop, bad cop scenario, being trained over and over to think of, it can only be either or. It can't be both, or it can't be none, It has to be one or the other. And that mentality's been drilled into us our whole entire lives. Um, what else? Oh, with the cloning thing, and even with when they do like the test tube babies or the in vitro fertilization, and you heard people talk about alien abductions and that kind of stuff going on. Well, I think it always, that science and that knowledge always came from those entities, you know, the fallen ones. They always knew it, just like they knew the abortion and taught how to do that, to sacrifice in the womb. Um, so again, I think that is a way to avoid having a spirit or a soul go into that body, because again, now that temple, that body, is being made with hands. You know, it's, oh, God always talks about a temple made without hands. Well, he's talking about the body. No hands made this, but it was God that made this creation, you know? So no hands were involved. Um, but when you start changing it or cloning or altering the genetics, the DNA, now there's the hands of man and are involved, or human, or whatever they are, these hybrids, whatever they want. And that's another reason I think they use those categories again, to bring us down from man to human, to be on their level, you know, mankind. You know, does that count everything that's kind of like man? And it's crazy to talk about this. I mean, but this stuff's going on all around us. I mean, it really is. You see videos from people that don't even believe in this stuff talking about the transhumanism and Dr. David Jacobs, who doesn't believe anything about God or the Bible, but he does all the UFO. He was a professor at Temple University, and he did all these sessions with abductees, and they're all talking about these hybrids. You know, they're being basically integrated around us, just like the days of Noah again. And I mean, common sense just shows, if anyone can just look at this world objectively, nothing makes sense. It's obvious there's outside interference going on. Why? There should be no war anywhere. Why would anyone care what the average person, the average man or woman in this country could care less what another man or woman is doing in Afghanistan? They normally don't care what someone's doing down the street, let alone, you know, on another continent. But yet we're fighting with everyone. You know, that there has to be one type of currency. There has to be, you know, a handful of beliefs. I mean, there has to be what, one government? That makes no sense. I mean, there should be millions of government, billions of government. Everyone should be governing themselves. And like, just like the word anarchy, they make that into like, oh, that's craziness, that's chaos. No, anarchy is great. It means there's no central government. Everyone's just governing themselves, and we do that mostly every day ourselves anyway. We don't need the mommy state or daddy state. I mean, are they really coming in to help us? You know. And again, they're your public servants. You're supposed to learn how to rule over them. And I don't mean be an a-hole and, you know, ordering them about, but, you know, wish, order, demand. You know, I haven't asked for your help, Bob. I wish you'd leave me alone. Okay, Bob. I know sometimes you act as an officer, but now I'm going to have to order you to leave me alone. You're trespassing, you know, and now I demand it, Bob. Now I'm going to have to make a claim against you. Now you're causing me harm, injury, and loss. You know, same thing. They ask you to do something. You know, you're a public servant. Is that an order? Is that an order, Bob? Because I'll be happy to carry out your order. Just, can you just write it down and place it in the form of an order and sign it? I'd be happy to carry it out. Because you're always saying yes, and they're not going to write it down in order. If they're stupid enough to, then you make the claim for compensation, fair and just compensation. You know, you can't go ordering people about without paying them. But if you want to play in the society, in the legal society, and you don't identify yourself, you know, as a man or a woman, if you want to be an adult or a male or a legal person, well, then that's a society that has ranks, duties, responsibilities, and obligations. So, yeah, that's a pyramid. That's what the pyramid's about, I believe, and it's modeled after hell, a hierarchy, as opposed to heaven, where I think God wants everyone to, you know, do what's right. It's funny, the one verse, it was talking about John the Baptist. I forget what verse it is, but it said he was the greatest man on earth, but even the lowest in heaven is higher than him. Well, I think that's because the lowest in heaven is just a higher capacity. You know, it's automatically going to be better. Just like the greatest person in the world is always going to be lower than the lowest man. because it's a higher capacity, it's a higher order, higher category, um, higher dimension. And the same thing, the legal society can't define man, just like, none of us can define God. That's kind of why he says, I am that I am, it's present. And he's saying, I am, you know, he can't be defined. We can't define him. We can't understand him, especially in the form we're in now. Our mind just can't comprehend it. Try to comprehend, that outside of time or what eternity is. I believe we lost that memory, or if we ever had it. And again, that goes back to, like, the womb, the matrix. That's what matrix means, a womb. And the amniotic fluid, amnesia, the cup of forgetfulness. We had to come into this world for a true test, a true trial, a true experiment, a clinical test. And even with the flat Earth, if there's a dome there, it's like a petri dish. And you ever see those scientific rooms? And if they're to stop things from escaping, to quarantine them, they either flood the room or burn the room. And we've had the flood, and the fires comes next. After the harvest, after the successful, or whatever God deems the wheat, and then he burns the tares. I think I covered most of what I wanted to do. Again, there's always so much more, but time, this fake time that I was just talking about. Oh, the other cool thing was the word angle. Angle is pretty close to angel, and can be spelled similar. But what I found, I forget what text it was in, but it was talking about how these these entities, they move on the angles, and that it reminded me, like Anglo-Saxon, English, and you put English on like a cue ball and pool, you're putting the spin on the ball, and you see like X's and O's and tic-tac-toe, and how both equal 6, and the object is to get 3 in a row, 3 6s in a row, that's the winner. And but tic-tac-toe can be a game that no one can win, so it's again feeding off the struggle of the X and the O. But what's an X? X is showing a square, the angles, the right angles. The O is the curve and the angles, the opposites again coming together. And to angle, a member of a Teutonic tribe. Where else was it? English, spin imparted to a ball. Yeah. And it just reminded me of like always angling, like fishing. That's another one definition for to fish with a hook. Catch or elicit by artful wiles, angle. So it's setting snares and traps, just like the Bible warned us about. These word games, they're using the angle, they're putting the spin on things. I think that's why they call it English, because that's what it is. It's all about spin. It's all about turning things around, and everything can be turned around. That was the other part too. Was there's nothing, you can't say anything as a fact, because there's always an argument to it. Like if you drop a pen every time it'll fall, really? Have you seen every single drop of a pen, past, present, and future? You know what I mean? Like nothing. Oh, I saw you do that. Oh, you did? You saw me? Really? It was me. You took a DNA test. You were there when they carried out the test. You came back. You followed it back. You had it in your possession the whole time. You never slept. You never left the room. You never went to the bathroom. You had it the whole time. And it's mine. And that no two people can ever have the same exact DNA. You know that for a fact. In all of history, you've tested everyone throughout all history, past, present, and future. Like there is no, you know what I mean? Like you everything can be spun, and that's what legal is. The written, everything has multiple meanings. Once you know the game of it, you don't. I'm not saying it's okay to sin, because that's God, but no man can judge you. That man looking at you, he could put on any costume he wants and look at me now, and you're not my judge. Only God's my judge. You have no right to judge me. And that's, again, going back to the Aleister Crowley. Even though they're wicked, they were telling the truth again, and their lies was, do what thou will. You can do whatever you want here. You can be whoever you want here. It's your choice. They're just trying to control for their purposes. So, and they're being used too, but they're getting their rewards here. They want their earthly rewards. And that's the copy of what Christ, the letter X again, that means Christ in Latin. And they're trying to do their copy of having heaven on earth, that they want to have the immortality, all the abilities to live forever, but to not have any other rules. At least have their own rules and have all us live by them. But they don't. Again, the big spin, the big English on the ball for them is, on the bow, is that, on the globe, is that whatever they're setting up, that's what they're going to be bound by. Just like we've been tricked into thinking public servants have some kind of authority over us. No, they're the ones that took the oaths. That's why God told us not to make oaths, because you're bound by them, either now or later. So they're setting up the rod of iron that they're going to be governed by, that they're going to be controlled by, that they swore to. You know, it's not us. Man is fluid and dynamic. He can, we can be anything. We're not, just like with the Tower of Babel. They had to change the languages because people are so government control of the mind. They were so controlled by the meaning of words. That a simple few words on a piece of paper could cause someone to have a heart attack. They're that terrified. Whereas God said that now anything they imagine they can do. Well, so it's the same for us. Anything we're limited by our imagination. The disciple walked on water because he believed it. Like the power of belief. And again, that's why they try so hard to make us believe in this fake reality. So we don't believe in the supernatural. We don't believe who we truly are. We don't believe that we have this ability, that there are servants. That's the only game they have, is to get us to waive our rights, is to, to not know the truth. That's all they can do. But once you know it, that's it. The fear is gone. There is no fear. The power perceived is power achieved. All they have is this game, and that's the key to all of it. I think that was everything I wanted to do today. And again, I thank everyone for the people that watch and the people that get this. As much as I don't like speaking publicly, or I'm a very private person, I always feel better after I do these, and I feel like at least I'm doing what I feel as though I'm supposed to do. But thank you very much for your comments. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. And again, just keep trying to help each other wake up from this false reality. Bye, guys.